Very much. Let's bring in Texas Senator Ted Cruz, as promised. He joins us now. Senator, great to have you here. We appreciate Planned Parenthood joining us and giving us their response to, obviously, this big decision today. That final question I ask because Rep. Maxine Waters just said this outside of the Supreme Court. I'll play it out and get your reaction. Listen.
You see this turnout here? You ain't seen nothing yet. Women are going to control their bodies no matter how they try and stop us. The hell with the Supreme Court. We will defy them. Women will be in control of their bodies. And if they think black women are intimidated or afraid, they got another thought coming. Black women will be out in droves. We will be out by the thousands. We will be out by the millions. We're going to make sure we fight for the right to control our own bodies. Thank you.
I just want to make sure that I provide you some of the verbate there because it was hard at times to hear her, Senator. You haven't seen nothing yet. Women are going to control their bodies no matter what, how they try to stop us. To hell with the Supreme Court. We will defy them. Your response?
You know, I think there is a real risk of violence. We've seen multiple Democrats, now including Maxine Waters, before that Chuck Schumer, before that the Biden White House, effectively encouraging violence. Chuck Schumer stood on the steps of the Supreme Court and threatened Justice Kavanaugh and Justice Gorsuch by name, said, "You have unleashed the whirlwind. You won't know what hit you." That's almost exactly what Maxine Waters said there. And I got to say, it's really cynical to see Democrats effectively condoning violence. I call upon Merrick Garland, the Attorney General, to be on watch, to stop any violence today, not to allow radicals who want to employ mob violence to threaten the Supreme Court, to threaten churches, to threaten pro-life pregnancy centers, to enforce the rule of law. And Senator, let me just pause for a second also and say, look, as much as we need to be vigilant preventing violence, this is a moment to pause and reflect. I believe this is a moment for incredible celebration. This is a momentous moment. This has been 49 years in the coming, and today's decision is a vindication for the rule of law, but it's also a testament to millions of activists, to millions of women who marched in the March for Life, to millions of activists who organized behind the presidential campaigns of Ronald Reagan, of George Herbert Walker Bush, of George W. Bush, of Donald Trump. This is 49 years of hard work to reverse a decision that was egregiously wrong the day it came down. And now the question of abortion, a question that is deeply emotional, that divides America, now that question returns to being decided where it was for the first 185 years of our nation's history, being decided by elected legislatures to reflect the views and values of the people. That's how the Constitution designed it.
Senator, it's Trace Gallagher. I know you go back and you talk about violence and so forth, preventing violence, and everybody hopes that is exactly the case. But, you know, you go back just a week, a couple of days, and the White House is yet to condemn the protesters who were outside the Supreme Court justices' homes. It was clearly illegal, and they wouldn't condemn it. And the question that everybody kept asking is why? And you talk about Merrick Garland. And yeah, maybe he should condemn it, but he came out and condemned the decision by the Supreme Court, the ruling by the Supreme Court. So far, we've heard nothing about violence. Your thoughts?
Well, and Trace, it's even worse than that. It's not just the White House refusing to condemn the protest at the justice's home. The White House press secretary actively encouraged Americans to go and protest at the homes of the justices. As you noted, that is a federal crime. It is illegal while a case is pending to do that. And I've never seen in my entire life a White House press secretary from the grounds of the White House urge Americans to commit a federal crime. But I guess Joe Biden knows that his attorney general won't enforce the law because the Department of Justice hasn't arrested the people that are violating federal law. And at least one lunatic heard the call of Chuck Schumer from the steps of the court, the call to violence, and flew from Simi Valley, California to Washington, was outside the home of Justice Kavanaugh, and was arrested and has been charged with attempted murder. And this is It is dangerous, it is wrong, it is lawless to condone violence. If you disagree with a particular policy issue, the democratic process is how you express that right. You have a right to speak, but you don't have a right to engage in violence. And this administration and the Democrats who are condoning it and even actively encouraging it should be ashamed, and they need to stop because they are endangering people's lives.
Well, I just want to be clear that the president did address a bit of that today when he spoke in the wake of this decision and said he said that there should not be violence, that the protest should be peaceful. I just want to make sure that I get that in there. It wasn't any specific reaction to the violence outside the Supreme Court justices' homes, but he did encourage those that are protesting to remain peaceful. He also said that—
Sandra, let me underscore that, because your point is really important. I was grateful that President Biden urged the protesters to stay peaceful and not engage in violence. That was the right thing for him to do. He's been absent for a long time, but I'm glad he said that today. And I hope that's a message they take to heart and they hear.
Indeed. And he also said this about Roe on the ballot in November. Listen. SOT 50.
This fall, we must elect more senators and representatives who will codify women's right to choose. And this fall, Roe is on the ballot. Personal freedoms are on the ballot. The right to privacy, liberty, equality, they're all on the ballot.
So, Senator, why don't you look forward for us and tell us what you see happens next here?
Well, I think November is going to be an historic election, and there's an awful lot on the ballot. The failed Biden policy agenda is on the ballot. Out-of-control inflation is on the ballot. $5, $6, $7 a gallon gas is on the ballot. Crime rates skyrocketing across the country is on the ballot. Chaos at the southern border is on the ballot. The failures of the far-left socialist policies are on the ballot. And you're right, defending our constitutional rights are on the ballot. And Sandra, I believe the voters are going to come out in historic numbers and elect a Republican, a large Republican majority in the House and a Republican majority in the Senate. That's not what Joe Biden wants, but his policies are visiting enormous pain on Americans across this country.
Just to clarify here, Senator, you do not believe that Roe v. Wade, that overturning this plays a huge part in the midterm elections like the Democrats believe?
So a lot of you're right, a lot of the Democrats are hoping this decision will be a Hail Mary, will somehow save what is otherwise heading to just an electoral train wreck for the Democrats in November. I don't believe that, and part of the reason is, with Roe versus Wade overturned, the consequence is not that abortion is suddenly illegal everywhere. The consequence is it returns to where it was the first 185 years of our nation's history, which is elected legislatures make that decision. That means in bright blue states, in states like New York and California, at least for the immediate foreseeable future, there will be no restrictions whatsoever on abortion. In redder states, in states like my home state of Texas, there will be significant and meaningful restrictions, and they'll vary state by state, reflecting the values and mores of the citizens. And if you disagree with the particular rules where you live, you can engage in the democratic process and argue for what you think's right. That's how our Constitution set it up. And I think the Democrats that are envisioning this suddenly turning around the November elections, I think they are hoping for something that I see zero evidence of happening.